Ya Ali Madad, and a heartfelt condolence to our beloved Imam of the present era, His Highness Aga Khan the 50th. From Mohammed El-Bira, the visionary behind the Ismaili Dialogue channel. In this moment, we reaffirm our unwavering allegiance to His Highness. We warmly encourage our listeners to subscribe and hit that like button if you appreciate our in-depth explorations. Today, we're embarking on a journey through time, tracing a lineage that spans millennia and touches on multiple faiths the concept of the Imamate. It's about understanding its universal significance and how it connects to figures you might already know. From Adam to Jesus to the present day.
Ya Ali Madad.
We'll be drawing from some incredible sources, Ismaili Gnosis and History of Islamic Philosophy by Henry Corbin. Now, before we get lost in the swirling mists of time, I think it's important to ground ourselves with a clear understanding. What exactly is the Imamate?
That's a great place to start. You see, the Imamate is often perceived as solely an institution of Muslim leadership, but its scope is far broader. It's a universal concept, with a mission that resonates across traditions and civilizations.
So it's not just about leading a specific religious community. I'm trying to picture how this concept transcends the boundaries of a single faith.
Exactly. Its influence extends to people of all faiths. In fact, our sources highlight that the present Imam Shah Rahim al-Hussaini is the inheritor and guardian of a universal gnosis, a spiritual knowledge that emanates from all religious and spiritual traditions. We're talking Adamic, Semitic, Abrahamic, Jewish, Christian, Islamic. It's all interconnected.
That's a powerful image. This idea of a continuous thread of spiritual wisdom weaving through all these different traditions. It reminds me of that quote from Henry Corbin about the succession of gnosis, this unbroken chain passed down through the ages.
Precisely. And that succession is key to understanding the Imamate's journey through time. It unfolds in cycles, each initiated by a major prophet, what Ismaili tradition calls an atiq, accompanied by an imam. Think of it like this. Each era has a prophet revealing the divine message, and then an imam who helps us live that message in our daily lives, ensuring the continuity of that spiritual knowledge.
Okay, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's like chapters in a grand story of spiritual evolution. But where do we even begin this journey through cycles? Do we start with Adam?
Well, our sources actually hint at something even more mind-blowing. A pre-Adamic cycle. Imagine a time characterized by an incredibly high level of gnosis and spirituality, almost a golden age of unity. Even the Quran alludes to this, referring to a time when humankind was one community before differences arose.
Hold on, a pre-Adamic cycle. This is already getting fascinating. I'm curious, what does Ismaili Gnosis say about this pre-Adamic cycle? How does it relate to the cycles that follow?
It's a bit like a primordial blueprint, a state of spiritual harmony that subsequent cycles strive to return to. Think of it as the source from which all spiritual knowledge flows. Now, after this pre-Adamic cycle, we move into the cycle of Adam. From Adam, the lineage continues, each cycle marked by a key prophet and imam pair, Adam and Seth, Noah and Shem. And then we reach Abraham. And with Abraham, things get even more interesting, because the lineage splits into two branches.
Okay, a lineage split. Now I have to know more. What happens here?
From Abraham, we see the emergence of two lines of imams. The permanent imams, descending from Ismail, and the entrusted imams, descending from Isaac. The permanent imams ultimately lead to Prophet Muhammad and our present imam, but the entrusted imams, they encompass many figures you might recognize from the Bible. Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, Aaron, even figures like Joshua, David, Solomon, John, Jesus, and James.
Wow. I never realized there could be such a connection between figures from the Bible and the lineage of imams. It really underscores the universal nature of the Imamate, doesn't it? This idea that it's not confined to a single faith or tradition.
It's a thread that weaves through history, connecting seemingly disparate traditions. And this brings us to the seventh cycle, a time of spiritual renewal and awakening. The cycle of resurrection.
Resurrection. You might be wondering how this impacts you directly. Think of it as a continuous unveiling of your inner potential, guided by the Imam's wisdom. But before we dive into that, I'm curious, are there any tricky parts to this lineage? Anything debated or open to interpretation? All these names and connections, it's a lot to take in.
Of course, there are always nuances when dealing with historical lineages, especially ones that stretch back so far. For instance, pinpointing exact dates before Jesus can be tricky, often debated and subject to speculation. And there are interesting discussions around figures like Sri Rama and Sri Krishna, and where they fit within the Ismaili sources. Some scholars even place them before the Adamic cycle.
So many layers to unpack here. It sounds like there's a whole world of research and scholarship dedicated to understanding these lineages.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember there are differing opinions and interpretations. For example, there's been debate about Jesus' successor. Ismaili texts point to Simon Peter, while contemporary research suggests it was actually James the Just.
It's fascinating how, even within this continuous lineage, there's room for different perspectives and ongoing research. But speaking of ongoing journeys, let's get back to the seventh cycle. How does this concept of resurrection play out in the present day? Where does our current Imam Shah Rahim al-Hussaini fit into all of this?
The seventh cycle, as we were discussing, is believed to be a time of spiritual resurgence, a return to that primordial state of unity and gnosis that existed before humanity's descent into division and discord.
Right, that pre-Adamic state of harmony we talked about earlier. So our present Imam is guiding us towards this spiritual resurrection. I'm trying to grasp what that actually looks like in practice.
Precisely. And what distinguishes the Imam of the seventh cycle is that, unlike prophets of previous cycles who brought new scriptures and laws, he doesn't introduce a new prophetic message.
So no new book to study then. What does he do?
His role is to unveil the esoteric meaning, the inner truth, of all previous revelations. Imagine it as revealing the universal wisdom that underlies all spiritual traditions.
So he's like the ultimate interpreter, helping us unlock the deeper meaning behind the messages of all the prophets who came before.
That's a great way to put it. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all spiritual paths and understanding their ultimate convergence in the unity of truth. And this brings us to another crucial point about our present Imam, Shah Rahim al-Hussaini.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Remember how we discussed each cycle having a prophet and an Imam pair?
Yeah.
Like Adam and Seth, Noah and Shem and so on.
Yeah, those pairings really help me visualize the flow of the lineage.
Well, the Imam who directly precedes the Qayyim, the one who ushers in the seventh cycle, is considered his proof his hujjah, or gate his bab. And this Imam holds an incredibly exalted position, considered the most exalted Imam of the six cycles.
Wow, that's a pretty big deal. It sounds like a pivotal role in preparing humanity for this spiritual renewal. So who was this Imam, the one who paved the way for Shah Rahim al-Hussaini?
That was our beloved Imam Shah Karim, whose recent passing on the 4th of April has left such a profound void in our hearts. He was laid to rest in Aswan, Egypt, his legacy continuing to guide and inspire us.
His loss is deeply felt by the community. May his soul rest in eternal peace. But it's also remarkable to think about the continuity of this spiritual lineage, isn't it? From Adam to Noah to Abraham to Prophet Muhammad, and now to our present Imam Shah Rahim al-Hussaini. It's a chain of wisdom and guidance that spans millennia.
It truly is a testament to the enduring power of the Imamate and its ability to connect humanity to the divine across time and traditions. And it speaks to a universal human need for connection. Regardless of one's faith, it's about recognizing that the search for truth and meaning is a shared journey, one that transcends the boundaries of religion and culture.
This has been an incredibly rich exploration so far. And even though we've covered so much ground, I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this vast and complex topic. What would you say to our listeners who are eager to delve even deeper? Where should they go to continue this exploration?
That's a wonderful question. I'd recommend revisiting the source material we've discussed today. Ismaili Dialogue and Henry Corbin's work are excellent starting points. But don't stop there. Explore further research. Seek out different perspectives. The beauty of this topic is that there's always more to learn and discover.
Curiosity is key. And before we wrap up, I'd love to get your final thoughts. Considering this concept of a continuous lineage of spiritual knowledge across time and traditions, how does that change your perspective on the interconnectedness of humanity and our search for meaning?
It really makes you appreciate the fundamental unity of humankind, doesn't it? This golden thread of spiritual knowledge woven through history. It reminds us that despite our differences in cultures, beliefs, and backgrounds, we are all ultimately seeking the same things: truth, meaning, connection to something greater than ourselves.
It's like we're all on this shared journey, even if we're taking different paths. And the Imamate, in a way, acts as a guiding light along that journey.
Exactly. And recognizing that shared journey, that interconnectedness, fosters empathy and understanding. It allows us to see the beauty and wisdom in other traditions, even if they differ from our own.
So it's not about erasing our differences, but rather seeing them as expressions of a deeper unity.
Precisely. It's about appreciating the tapestry of human experience, recognizing that each thread, each tradition, contributes to the richness and complexity of the whole.
That's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels so divided.
It's a message that's more relevant now than ever. In a time when conflict and polarization seem to dominate the headlines, remembering our shared humanity, our shared search for meaning, is essential.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that at our core, we're all connected, all part of something much larger than ourselves.
And that's a powerful source of hope and inspiration. It reminds us that even in the face of challenges, there's always potential for unity, for understanding, for a return to that primordial state of harmony and peace.
That's a beautiful thought to leave us with. Thank you so much for taking us on this incredible deep dive into the concepts of the Imam art. It's been an enlightening and inspiring journey.
The pleasure was all mine. And remember, this is just the beginning of the exploration. There's a whole world of knowledge and wisdom out there waiting to be discovered.
And for our listeners, we encourage you to continue the journey, delve deeper into the sources we've discussed, explore different perspectives, and most importantly, keep that spark of curiosity alive.
Yeah, Ali Madad.
Yeah, Ali Madad, and thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to exploring more fascinating topics with you in the future.